Good morning, friends. Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal. This is my 246th video, and it will be continuing from the videos which I have earlier made 243, 244, 5, which are on STR, whether it is on lease money, it is on DCR, that's called the district collector rate. Now, this is a very important video, and I want this video n number of times, keep rebrushing all those people who have got lease notices of 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, 1 crore, unimaginable amount. People who have got replies made by me, even they should watch this video. Now, in this video, once again, I will rebrush everybody that what is and how is the STR calculated. It is a very important calculation. Since 1985, the government shunned this old system of STR, which was originally created in 1925 and 1937. They shunned this formula and they came up on a formula which is called the collector rate in STR and 2.5%. There was no law made for it. It was only an executive order in 1985, and this is how the entire STR AVR under the House Taxation chapters of your Cantonment Act Amendment 1985-88 by J.P. Mittal was done. So, the STR is again converted into square meters, then divided by 10 makes it 10 square meters. And what are we paying? 2.5% of the total value of my plot holding. So, let us say my plot is of 1000 square meters, or it is of 4000 square meters, or any. It is multiplied into the collector rate, or it is multiplied into the STR. Divided by 10 is my rental value annually. Out of that value, I have to pay 2.5% as STR. Imagine how STR is calculated. So, this is a very big question. Why did the department in 1985 do this? Most of my videos are exposing everything. I have inserted my Excel sheet, which I am doing in this also now. Now, this is the original formula which was influxed in 1925 CLA rules. So, I will be calculating this formula by inserting again the mathematical formulas in the Excel sheet. So, this video should be viewed, understood, and you will see how the entire working was being done. So, what was the basic formula? So, the basic formula was that the British calculated an annual rent of my property, of my built up area, or let us presume my entire bungalow also, which is 1.6 acres. So, this annual rent which they calculated on a thumb rule, that if this property needs to be rented, how much will the owner will rent it to me, or how much will I take it on rent. So, this was a formula driven in 1865 in Robinson Carey, or a case of 1887 influxed in the CLA rules, how market value has to be calculated. So, a premium to be calculated was influxed by increasing this annual rent by approximately 525% or times. So, this increase of my annual rent will give me the premium amount. Now, you will read all your leases, all leases people will read that there is a premium paid in your lease. When the original lease was given in 1899 or 1912 or 1925 CLA rules or 1937 CLA. So, once this premium is paid, and what is your lease? Your lease is minimum for 30 years. Till 1937, hardly I have come across that any lease is annually or for 10 years. All leases are for minimum 30 years. So, this formula of 30 years, so the period of lease is calculated in this period. Now, the department says, let's take 20 times of the value of the annual rent which is calculated. Earlier they took for the premium, they took 525 times. Today, now they are saying, let's say if the annual rent is A, we will take 20 times of it. Now, just imagine how they are calculating. So, this entire amount which is driven, now we have the annual rent, we have the premium amount, we have 30 years and we have 20 times. So, this entire 4 figures are mathematically jumbled up and the market value is driven out of this property. As simple. The Excel sheet is showing you. Now, if you people want to understand of an example, I'll narrate an example to you. Now, let's presume in the CLA rules it is written that the annual rent is 230 rupees. So, what is the increase which I told you? Approximately 525 times of the annual rent. What is the new premium amount coming approximately? Is about 1200 rupees. Works. Lease period is for 30 years. 20 times of the annual rent charged. Now, once when we multiply 230 into 1200, that is the premium, we get 4600 rupees of an amount which comes to us. Now, what is 4600? Now, he says the lease period is to be divided by 20 times. Because you are garnering that much of increase from me, na? So, the value now after this comes out to be when multiplied by the premium rate. The whole formula is multiplied by the premium rate. The market value of your property comes to 5400. Now, whether you can call it DCR, the district collector rate of your entire holding divided by your holding. There is no square meters, there is no square yards, there is no square acres, nothing. So, the simple formula was this. Why did the British put this formula in place till 1937-47 and the Indian government after independence took it till 1985? Why? Imagine people whose leases have expired in 2017, 20, 24, 22, 21, 24 is more over the last, some are expiring in 45. What is your lease money? The government says the lease money you paid in 1925 or 1912, you will pay 50% increase of that lease paid. Now, but what is the government doing today? It is saying you will pay 1 lakh times of the rent increase of that last paid 90 years. So, guys, we have to wake up. We have to, fish this evidence. We have to plead this in front of the courts. We don't plead. Our advocates, I'm sorry, they're all my companions. Even I am a law graduate, but I am not an advocate licensed holder. I apologize to this statement, but when I was doing law, why did I do it? We are not taught cantonment laws. We don't come across these laws there. We didn't come across Rape Act. We didn't come across Cantonment Act. We didn't come across House Accommodation Act. We didn't come across CLA rules. Nowhere ever the law graduates are taught of the Governor General orders. Nowhere. We are not taught of the 1833 Government of India Act, 1915 Government of India Act, or the Charter Act of 1763, or the 1935 Government of India Act, which is a replicate of the Constitution of India today. It's a kind of a copy-paste. We were under the central pool because at that time there were no state governments. So, whether central pool or non-central pool was not the question. There was no federal system prior to 1947. People don't understand this. You need to, wake up. I can only, put in my efforts and rattle you people. So this is how your market value was driven in 1899, 1912. Friends, I know we people are very lazy, dormant. We are not interested in these issues at all. We say, Ronnie, gee, we've got bigger work to do. We've got bigger issues to do. Okay, government increases house tax to 10, 20% of the last paid. I remember some Kasoli bungalow owners coming, Ronnie ji, our house tax has gone 5,000, 7,000% more. Who's going to fight? They've paid. But they're all rich. So what do? You cannot calculate your market value. So there is a difference now. Some educated people may raise up this issue. Ronnie ji, once we go by this formula, which is the original formula of the CLA rules or of the 1899 Cantonment Code, let's convert back to our present STR. Let's say 1985-88, my bungalow, which is 1.6 acre, the STR was 36 rupees. And the collector rate driven out was approximately 120 rupees 40 paisa for per square yard. So what was my market value of the property? It was 9,32,000 approximately. So what will be my market value if I go by this formula? But when I feed the same rate, whether the STR or collector rate in the formula which I am talking of, the British, there I was paying a rental of 23,309 rupees per annum on 36 rupees. When I multiply this by the CLA rules formula, my market value along with premium, I am converting this again on that same rental, 23, let's presume per annum rent is 23,000. Acceptable because I gave you an example of 230. What will be my premium value? 1,21,600 something. So again for 30 years divided by 20 times, what will be my market value? It will be 5,42,277. So there is a difference now. These are two market values. One in 36, 85 I am getting 9 lakhs. In this formula, if the same 85 rental is taken, I am getting 5,40,000. So I am decreasing. So I am going less. So people will say, Ronnie ji, why take less? So, people will say, Naini Ronnie ji, my property value should be 9 lakhs. Why should it be 5 lakhs something? So there is a difference. So this is where we don't realize. This is where we don't realize when these value changes in 1912 or 1985 or let's say further on, the market values will substantially increase in the new formula which is driven by the government, because the government is wanting to take a bigger chunk of amount from you. So whether market value based on 1899, 1912, 1925, 1937 is better, or whether the market value on 1985 STR calculation sheet is good or is looking good, most of us will jump for 1985 STR because the figure looks good. There is an increase of approximately 3,85,000, which is not a small amount when it comes to compensation. So friends, whether there will be benefits of the old formula or whether there will be disadvantage of the old formula or vice versa of the 1985 policy, that leave it to me. Let something remain in my coffers. This is where I tell, sometimes when you shun education like this, you have people who who follow me on my YouTube and they become consultants without having 4 corners of the cantonment laws made by the Britishers from 1763. You cannot convince or plead or lead evidences in the court. So once again I am saying, please, if bungalow owners and residents are interested to get their STRs, AVRs, house tax, collector rates, which is called DCR, to be calculated, My office has agreed we will be charging rupees 10,000 per bungalow, per property. The documents you need to share is the GLR, the land sale deeds, the house tax for the last 3 tricentennial period, that is 9 years of your house tax, your land measurements in physical, block wise, main block, servant block, garages, kitchen, or your outhouse. Your entire built up estate should be known to me. Then, if you can share your collector rates for these periods, if you have them from the DC or the local office of the Tahsil, I'll be grateful. We will show you crystal clear your pleadings of house tax and your AVRs, in reverse your STR and your collector rate, and that will give you your present market value which the department presumes you are holding the property on. It will be an eye opener. Please. Why I say this? Because we are revenue free grants. The British or the district collector of your district never converted you into a new grant. That is why the Britishers in 1925 left you written in that column as old grant. Thank you. Good day.